Conclave, the Nagpur chapter. My name is Dr. Nishad, and I'll be your host for the evening. We are here today to acknowledge the past achievements, celebrate the present, and strategize for the future of the HR world. That being said, I would like to talk a little about Keka. We started way back in 2015 as a bootstrapped entity, and we have grown to become India's leading SME HR tech provider. So when I say that we know the power of human resources, I mean it. And we strongly believe that customer experience plus employee experience gives rise to 10 times the growth in any organization. That being said, I would like to call Ashish on stage to moderate the roundtable discussion that we are here for, right? So can we please have Ashish on stage?
Yeah. Good evening, Nagpur. How are you? Good to see so many people on working day. You left early today from office? Huh? So all working from home or office? How it is in Nagpur? Very bad, na? Yeah. Anyway, it's all depend upon city to city and company to company. Okay, great. So thank you so much for coming. My name is Ashish Gakre. How many of you know me? No, not everyone actually. But good to see different faces. And this is the, I think, I don't know, this is the second time I'm in the Nagpur. Yeah, I can see some old faces. Who's the oldest Nagpur HR shaper? Yeah, this guy. Arpit, can you please stand up? And yes. So they are the people, they have been good supporter and kind of, building up Nagpur HR shaper. Thank you, Arpit. And there were more people. I don't know, are they in the room or not? Rohini, Madhuri is supposed to be in the Nagpur. Now she is in Mumbai. Yeah, great. And so this event is actually, by Keka, and HR shaper is partner with Keka since 4 months. We have been almost in every city. You have seen the board outside? Yeah, so in every city we are there. We are going back again in some of the city. So please, it's all depend upon you to give a performance today so that we come back to the Nagpur again. And when I say performance, in the sense, now tell me how many of you having a Keka? Raise your hand. Do you have a Keka? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, oh, one company, na? So only one person should raise the hand, na? Kshitij and Keka team, this is very bad, huh? I think you should set up an office for 1 month or 2 months in Nagpur. Okay, so I've been associated with Keka since many months or almost 1 to 2 years. And personal views, it has been very good. HRMS for mid-size, payroll software, and all. See, there are a lot of HRMS company, right? You know that. Not everybody can cater to market. Not one product can cater to the entire community or the organization, right? So it's all depend upon individual need. Raise your hand if your organization headcount is more than 1,000. Okay, raise your hand if your organization headcount going to be more than 2,000. Okay, so rest of them are the target audience. That's what I wanted to check. Because Keka cater to mid-size, MSME in a short. Do you know the full form of MSME? Yeah? I don't know the startup M, but it is a small scale industry. Yeah, micro. Rest I know. Good. Okay, so as I said, HR shaper associated with the Keka since last many months. We are going back to few more city. Almost we touch Kshitij, I'm not wrong. I don't want to count the city name, but almost we touch 8 to 9 city. Yeah. Even we started in Dubai also. So we are going back again. We'll go to some other country as well. Anybody who can tell me right now how much funding Keka got? I will give chocolate. You need to tell me in rupees and dollar. And who gave the funding and which month? Now difficult, na? You are doing Google, huh? Anybody? Nobody did the homework, very bad. Yeah, but it's more than 470 crore. more than 470, I don't know exact, 481 crore if I'm not wrong, $58 million.
472. Yeah.
472. This can be the headcount, so this is one of the biggest funding in the particular sector. This can be the turnover of some of your company, if I'm not wrong, or maybe your company turnover may be less than that. And your organization, your management leadership must have spent number of years to to come to this kind of turnover. So this industry is really booming fast. Each and every company looking for automation, digitalization, that's what I mean to say, right? And we really seen this as a evidence during the COVID, what has happened. Every company was looking for HRMS, correct? Yeah, because we didn't have anything to just look into the data and all. Great. So HR Shaper is, 9 years, we are celebrating 9th anniversary tomorrow in Lonavala. Lonavala, have you heard Lonavala? Khandala, Lonavala. Huh? Yeah, so we are more than 200 HR people from Mumbai, Pune going to be gathered over there. It is just chill out, networking, nothing else. No agenda, no gyan. Okay, they will be left over to enjoy the mountain, hills, waterfall and all. Okay, some of you, I think, I don't know, anybody came? I think 2-3 people from Nagpur came last time to celebrate the anniversary with us. And we have been doing a lot of events, obviously with Keka, most of the event. And I stopped counting how many events I'm doing. It means HR Shaper. On an average, 1 or 2 events is happening in every location, every part of India. Okay, so coming back to the format, this is the different kind of structure you have seen right now, correct? We are not going to have any panel discussion. Are you happy with that? Or you want panel discussion? You want panel discussion where only 3 people speak and you just listen for 90 minutes? Are you okay with that? And they enforce their view on you. 3 people will tell you what is supposed to be done, what is not supposed to be done for 90 minutes. That's not good, right? Yeah? So they can be very good, in terms of, but what we want today is, we call it is roundtable conversation. Yeah? Now what I want is, on each table, how many from one company sitting? Lupin, huh? Sorry. I know your ex-company, yeah. So, okay, and this side, anybody from same company sitting? Oh, this very danger crowd, huh? So I want only one person from one company in the table.
All right, so I'll explain it a little better for everybody. Hi everyone, I'm Kshitij.
Kshitij, can you come here so people can see you? Kshitij is not feeling well, so don't look at his face.
Right, so I'm a little down today with fever and body pain. Hi everybody, I welcome you all on behalf of Keka here. So I'll set a quick context about how this roundtable we will execute. So every team, every table will have a topic. Now that topic is a problem statement, which commonly occurs in organizations, from different standpoint of HR. So the idea is that the panel that is there on the table will discuss amongst each other and come down to the key problems that are there with that topic, why that happens, right? And if any potential solution. So every table should have one presenter. We will, me and Ashish will moderate and come down to every single table and collect those pointers in terms of, what are the problems and what is the source of that problem, and eventually what is going to be the solution for it. So the reason of not keeping a panel discussion is because we, ourselves as a tool, I have been with Keka since the inception of the company, almost 10 years of time. So if I talk about why don't we keep panel discussions, is because we believe every single experience out there is something which has helped us become who we are today. The custom requests that our technology team develops in terms of features, all of that is also dependent upon the people, the customers that are using our product. So the idea would be to drill down, understand the best practices, the common problems, and illuminate each other in terms of how effectively can we run our organizations and workplaces. So we'll have 15 minutes of time before to have on-table discussions, and then we will start with the discussions on the tables. So if there is any query, you can raise hands.
You will get the topic, decide who will be leader, presenter, discuss within the group for 15 minutes. Problem statement is there, challenges, opportunity. Don't come up with a common kind of thing, so automation hona chahiye. something different, because everybody must be knowing that this is the basic step, right? Go beyond the basic, yeah, so that people will get to learn from each of the group. Please understand there are 18 to 20 group. I want everybody to be very crisp. Kshitij, how much time will give a presentation?
Every presenter, every table will have 5 minutes of time to speak their pointers, which they have noted down, right? And we thought of keeping prizes, which we don't have right now,
Yeah.
but regardless of it.
So when you get a time, please okay, have you got the topic?
Right. So
this is a diversity table, huh? Have you got the topic? Okay, so hold down. Okay, when you present it, please think that you are not a speaker. When you are presenting, you need to understand that you are not a speaker. Do you know the elevator pitch? You know the elevator pitch, what is the time frame? 2 to 3 minutes. So you need to be very crisp when you present, okay? So everybody got the topic?
So ideally, if we look at the calculation of time here, we have 19 tables. Ideally, we shall be able to cover it up in 90 minutes of time frame from here. So the time starts now, 15 minutes to go. Team, have we distributed topics? If there is any confusion with any of the topics, please let us know. You can talk to the nearest Keka representative on your table.
Do we have Nikhil in the room? Nikhil from Times of India? Nikhil from Times of India?
Um, 10 minutes to go.
Okay, last 2 minutes. Any table which is ready, raise your hand. Table who are ready, raise your hand. Are you ready? No?
So
2
ideally,
minutes,
the first table who got the topic, we should get started with them.
Okay, this table is ready. Okay, done. Very good. You are ready? Say yes, no. Okay, 2.
If there is any table under pressure, we apologize for it.
Okay, we can wind up now. Okay, everybody please stop. Shh. Mitro, hold down. Okay, so we are starting now. Presentation time. Maximum time is only 3 minutes. I'm keeping some buffer time, but don't misuse. Okay, I'm repeating. When you are presenting, please don't think you are a speaker. Don't think you are a speaker. You need to be very crisp, short and sweet. Only 3 minutes. कोई रिंग बेल है क्या अपने पास? होटल स्टॉप? नहीं तो चम्मच और वो गिलास ले आओ, मैं बजाऊंगा. 3 minutes only. Okay, who want to start? You need to be very short, sweet and crisp. Only 3 minutes. Okay. Can I come to this table? Who's your leader, sir?
One, I would request everybody to maintain a little bit of silence.
Okay, don't make any noise, because when your time comes, in case people are making noise, how would you feel? Yeah, so please listen. You never know, you may get very good ideas. Yeah, so please listen to each and every table inside.
Right. So we'll go clockwise. All right. So can I have the topic? So formally, I'll just set one rule. Let's start with your introduction. And if you want to introduce your table, please do that. The topic of table number 1 is how to measure employee satisfaction. This is something which is extremely essential for any workplace today, because if your people are not satisfied, they end up quitting, right? It becomes a regrettable attrition. So keeping that in mind, I would like the presenter of the table to go with a line of thoughts.
All right. So the topic is how to measure employee satisfaction. So I'm Jay from Infoceps Technologies, and I have my team here. Yeah. So the main challenge that we consider is creating a right tool for measuring employee satisfaction, because there are a diverse set of employees that are working. Because if we consider, almost 3 generations are there that work in a current, particular organization. So everybody has their own set of expectations, or whatever we say. So that is difficult to measure, because if I am from like consider yeah, Gen Z, baby boomer, or whatever it is, so they all of them have a different kind of expectations from organizations, and if they are not fulfilled, employee satisfaction is not there. And another thing is lack of participation. Like whenever we have employee satisfaction surveys, participations are very less. I don't know why, but that is there. Employees don't participate, and if they don't participate, it's difficult to assess what measures to take. So that is also there. And hello, yeah, honest feedback is not there. Why? Because of the confidentiality and discreetness is a concern. Most of the employees think, yeah, even if I do go and do chugli of my manager, they will. I'm not sure if it will be given a feedback, if my feedback will be shared with him or not. So that is also there. And also a recency error I have seen whenever we do employee appraisals, an appraisal cycle is there, and if recency error is a thing that is there, because I'm not sure if we remember what good an employee has done. Like consider Vinay, he is also from my organization, and if Vinay has done a good thing in January, and if I'm doing appraisal of him in December, I am not sure what good he has done in January. So that is also there. Recency error is a problem. So that's, I only have four points that are jotted down here. So that's there. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for the claps. All right, so 4 pointers we got from the table, which could actually, which is the set of challenges with while measuring the employee satisfaction within an organization. So there are a lot of challenges on this, right? So I being a moderator, I'll also give a line of thought from a technology perspective, being from Keka. So before I start talking about it, let me introduce what Keka is. So Keka, is there any Keka user here? Can you raise hands if there are? That's good to see. Right? So talking about what Keka is a hire to retire employee management platform. The idea of building this platform was to boost employee experience and then eventually increase the self-accountability that people have within the organization. So a lot of points here, which is gathering honest feedback from employees due to lack of confidentiality and discreetness. So what Keka has and how Keka can help you is something which I'll stick to. So Keka has a pulse and a survey module which can help you in measuring all the satisfaction scores that are required to be measured. There are multiple aspects when an employee is involved, in terms of which can represent, the great place to work kind of a concept. So it depends upon happiness index of employees, it depends upon their relationship with manager, it depends upon the growth path that they have in the organization, and a lot of other factors. So every employee has a sense of purpose while they join the organization. They are there with a certain specific purpose of doing it. Now eventually, when they lose it is something where the honest feedback goes away. So what we have done, one common fear that people have while giving surveys is that, is this even anonymous, right? Keka, you can do all the different kind of surveys that are required. They can be absolutely anonymous. They can run 360 degree, and it can actually help you in getting the right scores out of the platform. The other effect is recency error, right? Recency biasness I assume everybody would know about what recency biasness is. So when appraisals happen, appraisals are always a cyclic exercise. It starts with setting up of goals and then eventually goes down in measuring people, how people performed against those goals within the organization. Now, while the assessment happens, managers, while they're providing ratings, or employees themselves, while they're providing ratings, their large amount of their assessment depends upon last 2 months or 3 months of employee behavior. Because it's hard to, it's just a basic human biasness. You cannot remember every single incident that has happened across the year. So we at Keka, we actually identified this problem quite early. So what we did is we created a module of continuous feedback, which works as a performance diary for everybody in the organization. So on the mobile application itself, the people can come, they can give all the different kind of feedbacks. It can be an appreciation, it can be an area of improvement, it could be a private note that you want to keep for the appraisal. So this makes sure that all the recency that's happening, that can be addressed in a, in a smooth manner. So I would thank the table for getting these points out. Thank you very much.
Kshitij, I want to add something. See, we have done the employee satisfaction survey. Earlier we used to do a lot, correct? It was 6 months or 9 months. What was this? कुछ फॉर्म भेजने का है, फिर employee को बोलो fill up करो, right? And then आपको feedback मिलता है after 1 month or 2 months, correct? Now looking at the attrition, looking at the number of people joining every month, so what we do is, you need to change the thought process. we do the survey on one set of employee. By the time survey output come, that set of employee not there in the organization. So we implement their views on somebody else. So imagine your entire old generation is gone and they have given the survey and the new generation has come, and then you are going to implement the old generation inside on the new generation. So please understand this gap and assessment properly. Have you heard about modometer? Do we have modometer in Keka? Yeah, the Mozos, you know, the
basically, if you look at it from an employee side, mood is a diverse item.
Yeah,
You know, it
yeah.
changes with the weather also. If you look at
Correct.
it, right? So moodometer is something which reflects the kind of how you're feeling today. Is a quick question that the system will ask in the early day, and you know, if people are participating enough and they feel that organization does something with this kind of feedback, they'll keep participating in it. So moodometer is reflecting the pulse of an employee. You know, are they feeling great or they're feeling low?
How many have you implemented modometer on the organization or similar kind of thing? Most of the HRM is having this. You know, like every day in the morning, employees asked to tick mark on sad, happy and all. And then HRBP will see if employees tick mark on sad every 5 days, continuously 5 days, then you can easily reach out to either HOD or team manager and say, boss, I think there is something wrong. Or somebody is really happy, find out why he is happy. Okay, so do all these things. Modometer is the fastest way to do that. You don't need to wait for 1 month even. You can just do the weekly analysis and close it.
The
Yeah.
only tough part in implementing this is the consensus that you need from your people to participate in it with certain standards of understanding that how to evaluate your mood, right? So once that's done, your people are ready to
Appraisal
participate.
के
in
बाद करो बहुत अच्छा feedback मिले.
this. In case you have given good appraisals, of
Okay,
course.
next table. Huh?
So that brings me to table number 2. Who's the presenter here? Can I have the topic once?
Kshitij, we can reshuffle. Otherwise, ये table सोचेगा मेरा number 9 o'clock आएगा.
All right, I'll come to exact 180 degree from here next. So the topic of the table is what are the key analytics to manage in HR? So while you look into the organization, almost every job function in the organization is measurable in nature. You know, that's how we have designed our modern day workplaces. You know, there are metrics running through all job functions to understand and ensure that the health can be measured in a proper, accurate manner. So from that standpoint, what are the analytics of HR which make sense and which will actually help in measuring that health? Please.
Yeah, actually I was not ready. So can I please read? I have written.
Absolutely.
So managing HR involves analyzing various matrices and analysis to make the decisions to optimize the human resource processes. Like some of the key matrices are like employee turnover rate. That helps to track the turnover of employee for the employee.
Right. So turnover rate is
Turnover rate that helps to track the turnover, can provide the insight into employee satisfaction, engagement, and next the cost of employee, means cost per hire. That helps to identify the effectiveness of the recruitment strategies, and next is the training and development, means the return of the investment of the trainings. That helps to identify the effectiveness of the trainings initiatives and the guide for the future investments, and the employee engagement surveys to identify the areas of improvement and to enhance the employee satisfactions. And PMS matrix, obviously, it helps to assess the top performers and underperformances employees. And the compensation matrix to ensure the fair competitive pay practices within the organization.
That's it. Is there anything else left? Claps, people. All right. So, what are the key analytics to manage in HR? Ashish, you would want to ask the questions on HR analytics first?
Yeah, I would request everybody to dedicate 5% of the salary and do the HR analytics course. Invest in three courses, HR analytics, HR automation, and HR compliances. HR is always weak in all three areas. Analytics has to be on the top of it. Kshitij is very expert on the analytics. He does the master class and the workshop for many company and the seniors and all. Analytics, see, data is new currency. Data has been currency and will be always currency, you know. Can you convert data into information? That's one question. Can you convert information into knowledge? And then after knowledge, can you convert really into predictive analysis? We can't do this, believe me. If our manager is saying, give me the data and tell me what is the problem here. Can we tell? Right? So you need to have all those, you know, the key things. Okay, can I read the data and then tell the management, tell the leader, tell the HOD, guys, there is a problem. Okay, and from this data, this is all coming out. Can we predict all those things? So one has to really very good into data. I'm not talking about the finance wala data. This is the HR data only. Just be expert on the data. HR has to be good in two parts. One is data and second is face reading. Rest all can wait, right? Because we deal with everything is the data with you. You know, employee joiner, salary, appraisal, कुछ भी हो आपका HOD ये बोलेगा show me the data. And वो HOD क्यों बोलता है data लाओ मालूम है? आपको मालूम है कि आप नहीं दोगे data, and HOD will get a time. Problem will remain the problem, and problem will be with you only. Yeah. Okay, Kshitij.
All right. So HR analytics. I think if we look at purpose of HR as a department being born in an organization, it was to provide that intelligence to the organization in terms of what people require. If we look at businesses, businesses are nothing but a bunch of people working in synergy, you know, for a common purpose. So looking at that definition, how do we look about analytics? If we go subjective about it, there are typically 4 types of analytics with any subject matter today. There are descriptive analytics, which talk about what is the current status of your organization. This could be the headcount, what kind of growth the organization is doing, right? How many people are leaving at what point of time. So all of that is something which is essential data in that aspect of descriptive analytics. Once the descriptive analytics are set for the organization, the ability, if you keep tapping descriptive analytics for a period of time, it will give you the ability to look into the diagnostic analytics. That over a period of time, what is the kind of trends the data is reflecting, which will help you in taking more precise and accurate decisions. Now, the idea of building analytics, you know, data, first of all, if you give Excel to somebody and expect that they will do something about it, it's never going to happen, because until unless the data is interpreted into something which is an intelligence, there is no change or actionable items that you can get out of it. So from that aspect, descriptive analytics, the second step, diagnostic analytics, we eventually scale down to predictive and prescriptive analytics. The predictive ones are to predict what is going to happen in the future, and the prescriptive analytics are the set of things which we should do as an organization to make sure that the things stay on track. Now this helps in understanding the tides and lows and highs of the organization. What are the best times to hire people? You know, when is the best candidate pool available? What is the benchmark in terms of the salary that we should be providing or offering to people to get competitive talent in the organization? And there are so many use cases. One common use case, right? Like let's say attrition analysis. If you start doing attrition analysis, it will give you the best, you know, the top reasons for which attrition happens in your industry, in your organization. Every organization has its own set of reasons for which it happens. So analytics as a subject is, you know, so one hack that I would suggest everybody is the dashboarding. You know, so once you're putting data out, build dashboards, because if the dashboards are not available for the people that you want to take actions, it will never give a story. It will never tell the story that you want the other people to understand by looking at the data. So from that standpoint, dashboarding is something which is extremely critical. We need to make, you know, this journey takes time. You start with analytics, it will take a year or 2 at least before you start building or capturing all this data and it starts making sense. So just because it is difficult and it's a little aspirational, the organizations a lot of times take a step back and they never go in that direction. So now coming to Keka, how Keka helps. So we ourselves are a plug and play platform. As soon as you subscribe to our service, we take hardly 20 days of time frame to implement the system, which is 1/6 of any other close competitor in the space that we have. In terms of the way we have designed platform, the best practices from all the different kind of industries, the policies and everything is just, you have to select and the policy and the platform is configured. Our consultation support provides people in understanding what would be the best set of practices in terms of following into the organization. The last part onto it is it comes with a readily designed dashboards for all the different stakeholders. Be it your employee and employee at the base of the pyramid who requires to look at information about how effectively are they coming on time or not, right? What kind of leave balances or data that they have, what holidays they will have in future, what is that, what's their punctuality percentage and stuff like that. All of that is available in a dashboard. From manager's standpoint, there are dashboards to give information which is important for managers to operate their teams. From administrator perspective, we have dashboards which will help you in choosing the policy moving forward in the organization. From CEO perspective, we have dashboards to give leadership an idea about what decisions they should be taking in the organization. So in case this journey seems tough to you, you can always subscribe to our service and we can actually help you scale in that direction. The best part of being a cloud-based technology is that we come with a, an auto-update feature. As soon as you onboard our platform, you embark an ever-evolving journey. So we keep developing features, we keep improving our product, which shall eventually lead in improvement of the practices that you have in the organization as well. So that brings me to an end of this topic. We'll continue with the table on the other hand. Is that it? Are we ready? All right, so topic of the table is resistance to implement change. Change management is an everyday norm since 2020. If we look at it, COVID happened, almost everybody went back to their homes. They were operating from their homes. The government actually did make sure that, we endorse the right set of practices which is required at that point of time. So eventually, change became a norm ever since. We had to change the way we work. We had to change the way we operate with our teams, the way we collaborate with people. And that in itself actually led to a business continuity planning in every single industry out there to make sure that how the businesses which were being done with the traditional set of practices will happen when people are remotely working. So from change management standpoint, the only problem which is the most commonly fed problem is the resistance that people give while you try to implement some kind of change in the organization. So to the table, who is the presenter? We can get started with that.
Okay, so hi everyone, this is Ashay. I am from Infocepts. So as the topic is like resistance to implement the change. So resistance is actually necessary to everyone, whether it's in the organization or in the personal lives. So let's talk about into the organization. So it's like if you're trying to implement the change into the company, then what are the challenges that you are actually facing that you don't want to change it? So what we have got is, like, it is expensive for the individual. Like, it is not same for everyone if I want to implement the change in my organization. So like, let's say, just minutes ago when they told that Keka is something that you have to change in your organization for providing the services. So as in Infocepts, it's already the data in AI. So the limitation that we will be facing is like, we don't want to occupy any software or get into something that will change our rules and modernization because we are lacking for the resources, or maybe we are fearing that we won't be able to track this change. But actually the advantage that resistance is going to do in this organization may be that's something like bringing everyone to a common platform, which will be definitely helping them for accepting the new changes. Then to make aware about new modernized ways in which the market standards are actually looking to compete with, and definitely eliminating the wastage for more productivity and accelerating to the change. That's all what our thought perspectives are. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Table. Those were great points. So in terms of change management, I think we almost covered everything. I really can't add any points here. Just one point, which I think the emotional agility of the organization is something which we need to tap in and understand. If we look at any organization, it's built of people. Now those people, every person has a very unique personality, a very unique journey while they reach in the organization to that space. Now the current programs that we run, we try to implement the same kind of practices on everybody, thinking that all of them will behave in the same manner, which is something which is not there, right? So building that emotional agility and equity as a culture in the organization, where the idea of endorsing a change is something which you can increase in people to make sure they respond a little positively towards a change. The other aspect is that what kind of a change are you trying to bring in? That is something which actually also defines the kind of response that people will give to you, right? Let's say I have been part of tech digitalization ever since like a decade now. So if you look at CRM, I think almost everybody in their life cycle somewhere would have gone through a CRM system. Salespeople initially for 10 years, almost every CRM company was suffering with the adoption as a problem. While you implement it, people don't typically change stages of their deals. They don't track or do the set of activities which are essentially required to make that data more relevant for the organization to take decision. So from that standpoint, just make sure that the change that you're trying to drive into the organization is a little comfortable on people, and the positives that change is going to bring to them should be very loud and clear, that awareness is something which we should be doing into the organization before we try to do that. So that sums it up. Is there anybody who is a change management expert here would like to add any line of thoughts? We can always go about it.
Hello, yeah. Sometime or most of the time we overdo. Yeah? Do you think change management is always necessary? Raise your hand if you think always needed. See, COVID is the recent example. When we wanted to do all this automation, digitalization, were we waiting for PPT to come, some session to happen? No. From the next day we started learning. Not only started learning, we actually started implementing. So, वो बोलते हैं ना, necessity is the mother of invention, right? So this is the thing. Look at the example of worldwide. People have adopted this change like anything. तो जब सर पे आती है तो सब कुछ करना पड़ता है. So situation like he said, which kind of change you are bringing, which kind of incident is taking place, that's also depend upon that. Sometimes like in the merger acquisition situation, you don't need to educate somebody. It has to be done, right? You don't need to tell boss, do you agree with this? जैसे अभी एम्प्लॉयमेंट ऑफर में आपको कुछ चेंज करना है क्लॉज में, it's not a change management. It's a foundation. So one has to understand which kind of thing you are going to implement. Accordingly, you decide whether PPT, standee, some digital communication, or some long process of 1 month or 2 months. Decide accordingly. But assessment has to be done properly. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. So moving forward, can we go about the table? So table number 4, the topic of the table is lack of employee engagement. Employee engagement, anybody supports employee engagement in the organization here? Who believes that it is important for the organization? Oh, that's a great reform. This is good to see, actually. Yeah, nice. So lack of employee engagement, if we can actually start.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Keka and HR Shapers for engaging us here today. Thank you. I am Nisha from American Oncology Institute. Our topic is lack of employee engagement. So majorly, we HR, we always try to engage the employees, but there is constraints like budget constraints are there, or availability of staff is the issue. So the main problems are, first is effective communication. Because of non-engagement, the communication is lacking. So for that, we have, first I will tell the problems what we have identified. Effective communication, lack of confidence in the employees, attrition, accountability, and lack of trust in the organization. So for effective communication, we can start engagement from the onboarding itself. Like we can have coffee with the leaders or some activities where their engagement is done from the day one itself. For lack of confidence, we need to build a lot of activities. We have to create some motivational factors where they come forward. We can have some emotional connect with them. We can have training and team building activities. We can also have R&R activities to build their confidence. For attrition, it's a common topic which we have already discussed. So for attrition, we need to have some feedback and opinion should be taken from the employees so that they feel connected. For accountability, leaders at the department level itself, they can have a lot of activities so that at department level they are engaged, because few departments are engaged, few departments are not, but it impact overall engagement. And for trust, what it is already covered, like we should have a safe environment at the organization. People should feel safe to discuss, and there should be a lot of committees where they should go and discuss their problems. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amruta from Great Place IT Services. Actually, just wanted to add one more point, that if we wanted to engage people, so according to me, we need to touch, create a human touch over there. So if we can engage with their family members or someone, so it would be great to relate with them, because if they will feel related to the company and their family is also attached to us, it will be more engaging to them. So I thought, like, physically or the we can say the mentally, the wellness, it is the main important thing for the engaging people in any organization. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. So that was quite extensive if we look at it. What Keka does in employee engagement, one of the most highlighted problem that you mentioned, ma'am, was the communication, effective communication to the end users, the end employee. That there is a program like this that we run, that we are running, and we would actively look for your participation. So Keka as a platform, we in the early stage when we started building this platform, we were typically more of an HR ops platform. Now, when we talk about HR ops, actually, the development of the platform has also been dependent upon the need of the market. So at that point of time, what market needed was more of getting out of that Excel paperwork that's there. So the idea was to actually build that framework where the ops part could be reduced and HR could have time for more strategic, to drive more strategic initiatives in the organization. So while we started building in 2014, the first features that we launched were the leaves management module, the attendance management module, employee onboarding and stuff like that. Then over a period of time, we by 2017 and 18, we started seeing this change happening with cloud making it as a possibility. So the communication that were required, now our platform comes with a notification and an escalation engine where you can configure all the different kind of intelligences that you require in terms of communicating it to people. There is an engage module available in the platform where you can do effective announcements, you can run communities, you can also at the same time utilize the platform for communication information or set of knowledge that people require. So with a period of time, we also developed an organization wall just to make sure that people get out of their silo and they give feedbacks to people which are visibly available for everybody. Just to make sure that there is, if there is a good work happening in some corner of the company, people are at least able to understand that what exactly is good work, right? Otherwise, it's so hard to identify. So making sure that that information reaches every single corner of the organization is something that you can achieve through Keka as a platform. So I would thank the table for getting these points and making it easy for me. Thank you very much. Right. So can we go into the same corner again? Ashish, I don't see you. Would you want to lead with the table?
No, since you are calling me, okay, some views. Do we really need engagement? Again, don't overdo the things. Yeah, I will go to this table, but I just want to add. Do we need engagement always? Okay, raise your hand if you need engagement. Okay, raise your hand if you don't need engagement. You are highly disengaged here. So talk to yourself. Why you are disengaged? Then go back to the company, talk to your manager, check out what's happening and all. Yeah? But see, problem lies with itself, We just need to understand why do we need engagement, why do we need disengagement and all. This is all important. And Satish, related to this change management, जैसे mental wellness अपन ने चालू किया, right? So what we do, we ask everybody to follow mental and wellness, health, well-being and all. People are well here. It's just like that, people are engaged. Imagine if somebody is coming to this table and saying, okay, come every day, XYZ, do XYZ, what you'll say? Are you crazy or what? I'm busy, let me do my work. So first of all, focus on the work, focus on the manager, focus on the HOD, and then keep them engaged, yeah? I will go to this table now. You are ready, sir? Who's your leader? Oh, young leader. Yes.
All right. So the topic is.
I would request the presenters to stand so that we could get a footage.
Sure.
better.
No issues. All right. Almost the problem statement is, how is organizational structure critical for HR strategies? So if it is not at the point, so what could be the possible outcomes? Firstly, I'll tell my name. My name is Dr. S.D. Abhishek. I'm the CEO of Career Domain. So the possible outcomes would be no clear roles and responsibilities and authorities, demotivated environment, low self-accountability, and lack of productivity. Now, how we can make it possible, and what are the possible solutions? So firstly, the clear roles and responsibilities, that too on a dashboard on every employee. If every employee is saying the roles and responsibility on the dashboard every day, so he is clear about his authority and the responsibility as well. Second is succession planning should be there. For example, if an employee is working on level 5, and definitely every employee join the organization for the growth itself. So a performance tracker should be there on the dashboard. For example, he is on level 5 right now, and he has earned some points. For example, 100 points is required to go on the level 4. So he has earned 50 points. Now that particular thing on the dashboard will motivate him to earn that 50 point even in a less time, so that he can go to level 4. Then we need to understand, as you have mentioned, one moodometer, something like that. So again, we have mentioned the same thing, but in a different format. That is the requirement identification kind of assessment. So that what is requirement of that particular employee. As we know, every person is different. So every person has a different kind of requirement. So what's his requirement? Position, money, respect. So we can have a kind of assessment to understand what motivates to that particular kind of person. Then, as I have mentioned, futuristic approach, so that will be covered in the growth tracker. Then aligning with the mission and vision of the company. So the point is from sir. So this point, I liked it very well. If we show the mission and vision of the company on the dashboard of the employee every day, for example, he log in into that particular dashboard, and if we see the mission and vision of the company, so he will try to align his potential, his skills, his positivity with the mission and vision of the company. So two things will happen. Firstly, the productivity, and second, the positive environment of the company. Then we have motivation. Again, the performer of the month or week, we have award system. So what we generally companies do, they organize the award system once a month, once a year, whatever the format they have, and then they award the particular person in front of everyone. But for an instant of time, we have it in our mind, all the employees have it in our mind, the name of the person and other stuff. But what if we could show the face of the person on the dashboard of each and every employee, even if it is a CEO, even if it is a HR manager, even it is the CFO, or even it is the level 5, 6 employee, whatever it is. So in that particular thing, everybody will get to know that particular person, and in that manner, everybody will go and talk to him, so he'll feel motivated. So in that instance, other people will be like, yaar, mujhe bhi ye cheez chahiye. So he will perform accordingly. And then roles and responsibility test could be there. For example, most of the time it happens in the organization that even in the orientation induction, the roles and responsibilities are not clear to people, the employees. So we can have, after the induction and orientation, we can have the small assessment test of roles and responsibilities, whether that particular person has understood his roles and responsibility into the organization or not. And then emotional state, as you have mentioned, moodometer. So I have just the change of words, the emotional state meter I have mentioned, so that we can identify the emotions. I guess you already have it. And then the importance, that is assigning benefits and whatever the benefits allowances we are getting, so that needs to be clear to the employees. For example, if on the real time, not just on the month, on yearly basis, but on the real time. For example, if he went somewhere on the tour of the company, so allowances needs to be mentioned on the dashboard of him. That's all I have. Thank you.
So that was quite a CEO perspective. Thank you.
थोड़ा सा topic digress हो गया है. Let me read the topic. Sorry, huh? How is organization structure critical for HR strategy? So what is the organization structure definition, sir? Organization structure definition. Hierarchy, the head count, number of people, vision, mission, right? Right? No doubt, I mean, you guys must have thought about, in a different way. But what we are looking for, Kshitij, you can also add on. Okay, there is a HR strategy, how many people we are looking for? What is the growth of the company? How many level we need? Where a company is growing, correct? And how this alignment can be done, right? So little bit, there is some kind of, gap over there, but I think you did a good job. You have done how is HR structure critical for HR strategy?
Right, so the first 3 points were extremely relevant if we look at it, right? Defining roles and responsibilities within an organization will become extremely difficult in absence of an HR structure. At the same time, the futuristic approach is something which becomes a little blur, right, if the structure is not there. So now, in terms of what I want to add here, is let's look at organization as a journey. Organization before becoming an organization is a startup while it's born, right? It is essentially made of one aspiration person, or two or three, whoever are the initial founders, who have a certain vision about how the world should operate, or what, there is a certain problem and I would want to solve it as an entrepreneur. Now, that vision and mission that is there in the organization, once you try to scale it and you start building your organization, you will make people join in your organization. So while these people start to join, let's say you will hire a sales person, a sales head, you might require a marketing head, you might require an HR professional, and then eventually and so on and so forth, right? Depending upon the functions that the organization wants to address. So once these people start to join, the vision and mission that you have written for the organization, they start pulling it in their own direction, in their own silo. Every professional, while they operate into their job, it kind of gives them the that defines the perspective of how they will be actually looking at the problem, right? So it is extremely important that we define an organization structure initially itself, so that it provides you that set of intelligence which will actually help you in utilizing these resources in a more effective manner, right? And from this, if you look at organization structure, it largely depends upon the type of business that you are, right? If we talk about banking as as a segment, you would have branches, hubs, regions, right, which might diversify into branch level or on a state level or a city level. You go to education institution, you go to manufacturing, there would be plant-based structure, right? So largely the kind of business that you are in defines the initials of how the organization structure should operate. Keka comes with all 16 plus different kind of organization structures that exist in the business ecosystem, be it a flatline structure where you deploy people based upon the objectives, management by objectives, right? Be it a hierarchical structure where there are set of leaders who will, leaders that will operate a certain function in the organization, like sales heads and so forth. There could be, matrix structure. There could be so many different kind of structures actually exist. So Keka comes with that kind of intelligence, which will actually give you a dashboard to understand that which are those positions where your structure is into pressure also. A lot of times you see that maybe one of the manager is having 20 people to manage, while on the other hand, a new manager has only 2, right? Which is not entirely a justice, and the kind of experience that the people will get under that manager who has 20 people is something which we also need to measure and look at. So Keka as a platform just keeps a bird eye view on that to make sure that if there is anything which is off track, at least a trigger to the right set of people, the stakeholders, should go from the platform. So thank you very much. It was quite a CEO perspective, I would say.
Ratio is really important. One is to, let's say, one manager versus 5 team members, 7 team members. Which location do we need, team? Which location we don't need team? Which kind of function do we need team? Some people, some department, they can work in silo, right? We don't need team over there, right? Technology can support. Another important point is authorization metrics. How many from IT company here? Very good. So in IT, there is somebody will approve the leave, and somebody else will approve the XYZ. So both the manager will learn with the same. You agree with me? Right? So do we define in the system? If it is not there, then it will create a lot of problem. Any HRMS company, believe me, any HRMS company will ask you first question, आपका organization structure है क्या? Because everything starts from there. If it is not built up properly, there is no foundation. They will say, guys, first of all, you work on the organization structure. Who is your CEO? CEO will have how many manager will have, because that's how your Excel file will have the data. And if Excel file do not have this kind of data, they will not upload, and then no data will come in a proper format in the HRMS. Yeah. Okay, let me go to this table. Okay, diversity table.
So we're skipping this table for now. They're still not ready.
Okay.
So coming to the table, the topic of the table is, I think this should be pretty close to everybody. The topic of the table is how to build right culture in the organization. No organization can thrive with a right culture in it, right? It has become so essential because the kind of people that we have become with so much of information coming to us through internet, we kind of understand that, what is right and what is not. So building that right culture becomes essentially very important to attract talent, to retain talent, and eventually evolve your talent to a different standard moving forward. So coming to the table, if you could actually go about explaining these.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Rashmi. I am from Navbharat Press, Nagpur. As you say about the culture and the work culture development, we are 90 years old company. We are in the industry from 1934. And what culture we are facing, the problem is what we are facing, I'm going to tell you that. There are diversification of the age gap. Like there are people who are of the 60s and people who are of the 20s and who are the 30s also. So that differences matters, wherein the culture is getting, we are not on the solution where that one should be, some people are very orthodox, some are very tech friendly. So accordingly, that culture depends what department and what kind of age gap we are having. Secondly, then there are salary differences too. See, if I am and you are working on the same band, but because of the experience or because of any of the factors you are having more of the salary, that differences can come into. And that can, anyways, anybody work morely for the monetary terms, then there can differences that comes and which directly or indirectly hampers the work culture. Thirdly, then there is appraisal. Sometimes it is fair appraisal, sometimes it depends on the how good you are with your manager, right? If I am not having a good terms with you, probably you will rate me 5. If I have a good terminology with you, you will give me a 10. So that also brings up the differences between the employees working on the same department or the same team. Then there is one part also wherein the attrition plays an important role, because we hired new talent, we want that they should retain for the 3-4 years, but they do not sustain, and they are the people who will come up with the new technologies and who know new culture, but that do not sustain, and that hampers again the work culture, because then old people think that, okay, we are the one people who are doing the right way, and you bring out the new people, they were not doing it the right way. So what our way is the right way that they prefer, right? So that's a part, and then there is the appreciation which every person needs, right? A monetary terminology is there, but appreciation plays the important role. If it is not there, then obviously the culture will not be the happy one. There should be the one open door system for the everybody employees. They have a proper open channel where they can discuss. Like for example, we are having a dashboard where they can reach out to the employees, to the HODs. At the same time, they can reach out to the management if they are thinking that HOD is not responding back to me. So I can have a direct access to the management, not directly whether they can knock the door, but they have a software when they can raise their points and they can ask for the solutions. So these are my questions. I would like to suggest ask from your end also.
Absolutely. So,
thank you.
Right, I'll have to ask. Thank you, everyone. So I'll take this paper before I start answering this. These are set of questions. Anybody would want to provide answers? The question is the scenario first. Let's understand the scenario here. The scenario is that the organization has a very diverse workforce, which ages from probably Gen Z and millennials to eventually senior-aged people. So the first question, okay, all right, it's tough to read. Right, that's an interesting way to look at it. Now, just because of that, that the age group is so diverse, the senior employees would not sink in with the culture, the way the young ones will take, right? Young ones might be more techie in nature, would have understanding about how technology operates and stuff like that, while maybe the seniors might be a little reluctant about doing it. So in this case, let's, is there anybody who would like to provide an answer? I can go about answering it. Anyone would like to take a take, please? Teams with mixed ages. All right, that does give it a perspective, but again, the age diversity will still be there, and within the team itself, there could be rifts because of that, if we look at it, right? So that's quite an effective answer. So what ma'am is suggesting here is that you can create that diversity inside the team itself, where there's a senior trying to make the young one understand and evolve with maybe mentoring, closely for a period of time. Right, that's an effective answer. Would you like to take a dig?
One solution could be trying to find out the point which is common between both of them they are interested into. For example, if we try if we if giving an example, if we try to give an example of the societal structure, I'm not giving the organizational structure, but the societal structure, then Ganesh festival. People from 18 to 65 come together and they celebrate it. So it could be like finding a common point which can connect them intellectually as well, emotionally as well, and on the knowledge basis as well.
All right. So yeah, that also is a great point.
Can I add something? There are 2-3 kind of culture in the organization: boss culture, manager, and employee culture, and then actually culture. So please understand you are part of which culture. We have seen one boss is leaving, then entire department or bunch of people leaving. So culture goes along with them. If they are joining in the same kind of in a group, then they bring the culture of the old company. You have seen this, right? This is the right and live example. You have seen culture suddenly change because group of people coming from different organization coming and enforcing culture. So yeah.
Right. So if I go about how did we as a platform looked at it as a problem, what drives culture is the first thing. Let's try to identify that. So how is culture defined? Culture is defined by maybe few culture super coordinators in the organization, right? Which kind of set the tone of how organization will operate. So essentially, how do we address it in our technology? We have a platform called Core Values Platform. Now, Core Values Platform is basically essentially defining the set of values that your people should have, should inherit, the values that, which kind of define the kind of behavior that they will have with the people inside the organization and people outside the organization, maybe your customers and vendors and so forth. So defining these core values of essentially what you want your people to reverberate as employee is something which will actually help bring that clarity to people to understand that what is the culture, right? So that is one. The second aspect so if I talk about how Keka helps into that, the core values framework that we have is part of performance management process in our tech. So while you are doing appraisals, most of the appraisals are centered around the set of KPIs, KRAs, or objectives, whatever, goals, sub-goals, whatever you call it. It's centered around that what KPIs are set for people, how much achievement did people do on those set of objectives that were set for them. On the same hand, if you look at an employee performance, it's just not the goals that people are, right? People are more. Goals are representing the performance that people have. On the other hand, there is potential that the person has. Now, potential calculation can happen through measuring the set of competencies that people have, the skills that people have. So there is a platform where you can set up job-specific skills that are required for that person to execute that job or set of goals that are assigned to them well. The second aspect is you can define the common success competencies, which are maybe discipline and stuff like that. Right? You can also feed in core values into the platform. Now, core values is essentially something which is diverse for different industries, right? If you want to look at the values that maybe a manufacturing organization would be different from a banking organization. So leaders should do that exercise where they define these core values and feed it into the system. You can give certain weightage in the platform and make sure that people's appraisal or their career path is linked with the kind of values that they reverberate in their lives. So that is one. The third point that I can read is the fair appraisals. This is something which kind of sets off, the culture in the organization. Very true. If you look at it, appraisals is a hateful exercise for almost everybody. Employees hate it, managers hate it, the leadership hates it, HR as a department, right. So yeah. So talking about appraisal, how do we moderate it in Keka? It's one-touch performance reviews that we have designed. The essential part is to make sure that the goal-setting process that happens in your organization is something which people should have that goal-setting muscle inside their head, where they should understand the different type of goal-setting methodologies which exist, right? Be it balanced scorecard, OKRs, KRA, KPIs, SMART goals methodology, or whatever it might be, right? So once people understand that how goal-setting is done, they will be able to write right set of goals for themselves and at the same time imagine the outcomes that is supposed to be driven by those set of objectives. So once that clarity comes to them, the kind of appraisals, the fair appraisal problem is something which can be addressed fairly well, right? The same equation, appreciation and rewards, is something which is directly linked with that. Now, once the outcome is very well defined and explained to an employee that this is something which you will do, this is something which you will get if you perform onto this scale, right? You achieve 150% of this, 120% of this, 100% of this, and then eventually this is the rewards that you get. That will bring in that consistency that people actually require to operate in the jobs. So this is something which will be extremely helpful in my opinion. And yeah, that sums it up. I think that's a Keka answer of how do we address it. Right, so topic of the table is how to simplify employee documents management. Documents management is too much of paperwork if you look at it. Every organization, one or the other aspect of it actually, they suffer from it. So please.
Hi, good evening everyone. Myself Shubhlash Tiwari and I am from ESAB India Limited, Nagpur. And this topic is directly related to all the software which are available in the market, because employee document management is depend upon the software, what kind of software you are using. And what we had discussed, that first thing is that which comes from the recruitment, that is ATS, anti-tracking system for the CV management. And second, and the most important is that what kind of software you are using, like Keka, Zolo, Great HR, Zumo, and Zumo Campus. Apart from that, from these softwares, we have to think about the clear identification of stakeholders, that to whom we should give the access of what documents, and who and when can search any kind of documents which is required by any concerned department, and one-click preview for the concerned department for the concerned documents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those are very fair problem statements. But I think to an extent we covered it, but there is a lot which is actually left. Now, let me talk about employee documents in the first place. We, as HR, as business, deal with a lot of set of documents, on our everyday basis. Employee joining documents is one set of those documents, right? When an employee joins, we require compliance set of documents which are required to be configured and then stored into the system, use it whenever it is required. There is set of policy documents that people require to acknowledge, right? Like zero tolerance policy or maybe POSH policy that you might follow to make sure that there is a standard set of practices or agreement in terms of people and organization. So that is one. Other than this, we have so many other set of documents. There is tax declaration, which happens as an exercise every year. Now that in itself brings in, I know if depends upon the size of the organization, but hundreds of bills for sure, right? So that's too many documents again. Expense management, right? People, if they are working from field, they would be incurring bills which you would require, to be submitted to make sure that you clear those expenses and keep that experience running. Now these documents, every single function today, somewhere or the other, like there is a set of documents which is required. Keka, we actually address all of it, right? As soon as your employee joins the organization, the very first phase is the candidature phase, is where you would require a resume, right? The system, you can actually get that resume very easily, so we have a parsing feature available. Somebody comes on your website, fills in their details or uploads their resume. It will automatically fill all the information from it by AI, right? That will actually help you also setting up eligibility criteria in terms of, let's say, if certain information does not match, we can exclude that candidate. So filtration, getting these resumes from different job boards, different social media platforms where you do job postings, all of that Keka will ease out. Now, other employee moves a little forward and say the set of interviews go well and the employee is supposed to join as an employee. Pre-boarding comes into play, right? Where we require at least bare minimum set of documents to make sure that the joining or offer letter is released for people. That is something which you can run through candidate engagement or pre-boarding module that we have. You can define your pre-boarding process and the system will take care of it as soon as somebody is confirmed in the organization. Now, employee is joined. There is onboarding related documents. You want to provide them training, training documents so that they can understand the set of responsibilities or the jobs that they are required to do, right? All of that onboarding phase, you can create the set of repository of documents and you can make sure that information happens. The collection of documents is extremely easy. Every employee, we have given an interface where it will guide as a task. We have, and one by one, they can submit documents which will through a proper process of approval, can be saved into the platform for future purposes. We have given enough analytics and dashboards to make sure that the onboarding teams can look at that, if there are pendencies, where exactly it is happening, right? So this is there. Now, employee has joined and it's operational. Maybe 3 months is gone, probation is completed, 3 or 6 months, whatever it is. Now, once that is set, that brings us to the next set of problems where the life cycle documents are involved, right? Tax declaration. We are, end-to-end payroll management platform as well. The system will automatically take your leave and attendance data, expense data, all the different documents that people have submitted, managers have approved. It will move into your payroll module to make sure that there is an effective salary payout that can happen from it. Another set of document is payslips, right? We got to give those payslips to people, auto-generated, right, through PDF, encrypted, whichever way you want to do. So this way, if you talk about, there are letters which are required, right? Organization letters, offer letters, transfer letter, and appraisal letters, right? All of that you can configure in the platform. Anything that you want to release for people, automatically with the digital signature, it can actually go about from the platform. So we at Keka, we have tried to analyze all the set of phases of an employee life cycle, a managerial life cycle, and an administrator life cycle, and we have designed those documents management, from that standpoint. So that actually sums it up. Thank you very much, table. All right. So we'll speed up the process a bit, running a little late. So the topic of the next table is lack of clarity in performance expectations. So before we go about talking about it, I did not give a formal introduction about myself. What do I do here at Keka? I have been part of Keka ever since the inception of the company. I take care of performance management as a process coach. I help our customers design effective talent management processes. If you look at India today, largely the organizations are driven by a command-based leadership model, where the leaders are supposed to give commands and then people are supposed to execute that. So I, as a performance management subject matter expert, I help organizations to move from these command-based leadership models to more purpose and trust-driven, self-accountability-driven leadership models, where people themselves can write or moderate the set of goals that they should pursue as a professional. So this is something which I do, it's something which I wanted to introduce. So table now.
Hi everyone, this is Pallavi, Dr. Pallavi from Career Domain. I'm a co-founder of the company. So basically, our team have discussed so many points because this is really a vast topic, which never-ending topic actually. So first of all, we should clear with the job description. We ourselves, if you're not aware about what we need exactly from the employee, we won't be able to give them the task and duties which they have to perform. So job description should be precise, and the duties should be precise according to the requirement of the company, because every single company have different kind of requirement and they need different set of people and uniqueness for the company. So that should be mentioned. And yeah, the morning meetings are really important to setting up the goal. As my dearly friend mentioned, that setting goal is really important. So yeah, that is really important for the same. And reviews and feedbacks are most important to like just increase their performance, because at the end of the day, why we are hiring them, that they should perform really well for the company and the revenue should be generated, because it is all depend on the performance of the employees. So yeah, clarity in KRA and KPI. Skills are really important. Basically, every single, most of the companies have aptitude tests, and these people are also providing the same, so that we can understand the interest and the skills of the company. As we are into career counseling, what we are doing is we are deciding the career of the student on the basis of six dimensions, which is personality, interest, IQ, emotional quotient, orientation style, and like multiple intelligence, which is really required to understand that particular person is suitable for that particular profession or not. So we should include that in the company as well, so that we can understand on the first step itself that the person who is applying for the particular job, they should not give a false promises, because every single person in the interview, they give us a false promises. We can do this, we can do that, but at the end of the day, when we see that they cannot do anything relatable which they have mentioned in the interview. So after that, in the training session, we should give them some task which is relatable to the duties, which can help us to understand that they'll be able to perform really well with the particular task or not. And yeah, my dear friend want to mention something else. So yes.
With the topic given to us, I'd like to conclude it with a line. One distorted dot can mess a masterpiece, while clarity on performance expectation on organizational front can result into masters of industry. Thanks.
All right, beautiful. So quite great points. What I would like to add here is the Keka way of looking at performance management as a process. So if we talk about performance management, the very simple thing would be to, maybe plug a process and just hope that it works, right? That's how appraisals actually happen. The acumen of people is something that we are actually dependent upon. So essentially, what I would like to add here is a framework which, the way we look at performance. So performance, while we started developing this platform in 2015, was more of a static process, where in the beginning of the year, the goal setting exercise would happen. Maybe after a certain frequency, 6 months or a year, we will review people on how they performed on the set of goals that were written for them. The problem with static processes is that a lot of times we all have understood this, that the goals that we set lose relevance over a period of time. 3 months, 6 months later, they don't even feel like that those are the goals that we ever wanted to chase in the first place. So there is a lot of dynamicity involved. The kind of ecosystems that India is harnessing, project management and stuff like that, every day new objectives come into play which are required to be noted or recorded into the platform. That's another set of problem. So a simple framework that we execute our technology on, if I divide it, it's 4 major steps. Step number 1 is identification. Now, identification is an exercise where you as an organization need to figure out what really matters, identify what matters for the organization. Every team function, every job would, what matters changes, right? So identifying those is something which is important. Now, once that you have identified that, you link it with KPIs or objectives of people, just to make sure that there is a goal setting exercise which is recorded and fed for people. Now, once the goals have been set, you can go about in a continuous, through a tech, you can actually go about building a continuous process out of it. The second step of performance process is the goals monitoring, where your managers or your supervisors or your leaders are supposed to cyclically visit those goals and understand if those goals are on track, if they need attention, if they're at risk, and take that remedial action which is required at that point of time, right? The reiteration of targets could also be one of those, right? So you can make sure that that is something which, through tech, you can give them continuous dashboards where, in Keka, how it works is that people will set goals. If there is a metric, they can keep updating that metric. System will give a graphical representation of how close you are towards completing that, right? If you mark your status, the dialogue is something that we are trying to establish through the platform, where if an individual is facing problems in getting their goals done, or if there is a challenge, they can choose the status of the goal. If it is on track, if it needs attention, and that will give a right trigger to the manager at the right time. So they don't typically have to wait till end of the cycle to make sure that they give their concerns that this was something which I was facing. If you are facing something, now is the time, right? You can express it through the platform. And manager will always get a trigger, and then they can come back and look into that. Now, once the monitoring has happened, the third essential exercise is the reviewing, right? After a certain frequency, we will go back and review our people in terms of how did they perform, right? You can set up rating scales whichever way it's required, and then measure people on performance and potential both at the same time, right? If you measure them only on performance, you're stuck with bell curve as a process. If you go about increasing it, right, performance and potential, you can also follow 9 box. You can take a helicopter view of how your people perform, right? Which of them are top performers, which of them are non-performers, which of them are dysfunctional genius who have great competency, but the performance is not really something which they're able to achieve. Or there could be some people who are performing great, but their competency levels are low. So it gives you an idea about which set of people fall in what bracket and what set of training needs you have, right? So that is the last part of the framework, where you identify or you try to bring in the outcome. Identify what trainings people require. You can always go about through supervisors, you can capture the training needs of people in our platform, and it will automatically translate into a training calendar moving forward. The other aspect is calculating the incentives or CPVPs, performance-linked variable pays, bonuses for people. That is something that you can figure out with the digitized rating that people receive in terms of their reviews. The third aspect is the revision of roles, right? You can also go about capturing the promotional recommendation from managers. Which of the people would they want to promote in this cycle moving forward? So all of those is something which Keka as a platform will be able to help you as a one streamlined process. For any more details that you require onto this, you can always get in touch with Keka team here. They'll help you in explaining and showcasing the use cases of performance management in it. So thank you very much, Table. These were quite a lot of points, actually. Can I take that? Thank you. Right, so, all right, it's already 8:05, and I'm supposed to wrap up at 8:30. Next table would like to go ahead. So we'll try to keep it short. I will cut my pieces down so that I speak a little less. Please.
Hi, the topic which is given to us is how can HR assist with employee grievances. I think this is the vast topic. Every HR has to face this type of, grievances in his daily task. And from my team, Snehal will elaborate on this.
I'm Snehal Amdekar from Technodee Learner Power Private Limited. So first thing we did was we tried to understand what are the grievances that we have, and generally we came up like lack of communication, compensation and benefits. We had a problem attendance sorting that all of us had, and most important thing is difference of perception. I mean, what an employee considers the work that he is doing, he thinks it is very valuable, and what the reporting manager understands that if it's actually helping, the company or, the team move forward. Yeah, conflicts, yeah. So the mechanisms that we have is like policies and programs, clarity should be there. First of all, as an HR, we need to understand all the programs and policies that are there. Then empathy. Then we need to have a conducive culture. Then mechanism to communicate. Like we have like suggestions, complaint box, helpline. And we also have blue-collared employees with us. So sir suggests that we should have a helpline number where they can call in and inform, tell us about the grievances. Then of course employee engagement, open house we can have, and then anonymous, people can give send their grievances that they have. Okay. Thank you.
Right. So employee grievances are very real, right? If you look at it, we ourselves have grievances with the work that we do. So what Keka does in this aspect is something which I'd like to give you a quick visibility on. So Keka, there is a help desk module that we have, which is an employee grievance redressal module, which gives your people an ability to express their grievance at the right time. So expressing that largely depends upon, you can create a job-specific set of categories which are commonly occurring grievances, right? It could be, from maybe stationary request to maybe reporting some kind of an assault in the company, right? So you can create those grievance categories. The system, you can configure TATs so that system will send primary, prima facie response to people, and then, it will also give people a time, right? 24 hours, somebody will get in touch with you, right? So system will also throw reminders and escalations to right set of people who can address grievances of that category. So this entire, the problem with the process is that there are too many stakeholders involved. There are, every grievance category has its own subject matter expert. So in Keka, you can configure that and you can make sure that these grievances can reach those experts in no time. Right? The capability of reopening tickets and all of that we have given to end users to make sure that they are. You can also take their feedback, that are they feeling satisfied with the grievance redressal that has been provided to them. So thank you very much, ma'am. That was very helpful. Yes. All right, so we go to the next table. The topic of the table is how to improve travel and reimbursement experience.
Hi, good evening. I'm Devesh Kumar Thakur, Senior Vice President, Lighthouse Infosystems Private Limited. In fact, yes, this travel issue, bills reimbursement issue is one of the general issue might be happening with almost the organizations. Again, there could be the different brackets, like for hierarchy-wise, you may say. So the senior people would be having the different slot, then the junior people would be having the different slots. But when the problem comes, when the issue arises, when basically the sales guys goes to the market for their sales purposes, then in the IT, implementation guys also goes, in our company, implementation guys also visit to the client end and they stay there for 10 days, 12 days, 15 days, that way to implement the ERP. Thereafter, they are coming back and we are claiming this reimbursement from the customer. So first thing that we are taking the bills from them and then submitting it to client, then we are getting the reimbursement back. Now, point is that sometimes what happens that the employee who is at the client end, they are coming back and then again going back to the at some other customer end. So we cannot stop them for this purposes that you have not submitted the bill, so you cannot go. So he has to go instantly. But in this entire process, sometimes month goes. And once the month passes away, the claim could be delayed. Sometimes what happens recently, what we faced that in the, well, the March closing was there. So March closed, we have not raised the bill to the customer, and we had to pay to our employees because they have already paid from their pocket. We cannot stop it. So these kind of issues sometimes raise, and we have the only one option, only one solution. After brainstorming on it, we have identified and acknowledged it in the process that we are taking the snapshot of the bills online, but again there could be the flaws inside. Like, see, a guy who is going through train, or sometimes who is catching the auto guy would not be giving the bill. How one can claim? So yes, bracket could be there, but again bracket depends on the bills. It never means that whatever the bill you have paid or whatever the money you have paid, but you are not getting, or you will be getting whatever you will be claiming. So that's not the way. Payment or claims will be coming in hand only on the basis of some documentations, and that as per the norms. So in every organization there will be the norms. Then the solution which we have found, that there should be the scanned things through the mobile app, and that should be submitted instantly. That is one way where we would not be missing the time frame. That is the important aspect. The second thing is the adherence of the policy. So policy should be very strict to follow or ask them, because see, sometimes guy would also be reluctant to update because they are getting the money back from the organization. They never care that company also has to claim to the client company, and then the money getting back to the organization. But because they are getting their money in their pocket, so they are not serious about that. I should not be delayed because I would be getting money, but that organization would not be getting the money back. So these are the issues, these are the lapses which we will have to focus towards the policy. We have to implement the policy strongly, and then only we can get the process at place. I believe so.
That was very brilliantly put together if you look at it, right? So while we talk about travel and reimbursement experience, it's just not one stakeholder whose experience it is. It's just not employees. Like sir mentioned, employees would want their money back if they're spending for projects or for the organization. That's one place, one experience which matters. The amount of time that you take in paying them back is what experience is directly linked with. This other side of experience is you as an organization, right? If you're not able to really claim that money back from the customer because of certain issues or challenges of dates, that spoils your experience as an organization, right? Customer experience again goes for a toss also, right? Customer was supposed to pay. So, so many problems happening, and the solution is to make sure that there is an effectiveness in terms of getting these data recorded at the right point of time, right? So as you rightly mentioned, again, is the solution is the mobile application with ability of clicking picture and parsing to make sure that all those bills automatically get approved, move for approval at right time and get paid out.
They are forcing us to adhere the policy seriously. So if we would be forcing the policy, implementing it on time, and everyone could value it, I mean, entire organization, not only the particular department like HR or a particular department of, I mean, whoever would be going. So everyone will have to follow it religiously only. Then only we could be getting the final solution, and it would be placed properly where no one would be losing the money. And this would be the experience could be.
Ultimately, as we said, that supporting documents in this case is important, right? Eventually, we don't realize that how an employee feels during the entire exhaustive process, like he mentioned. So how do we do an authenticity check on all these supporting documents? Like right now, if you see every document, even if we go for a government or banking or any other things that we talk, we have an Aadhaar card check, or we have a PAN card check, or we have an OTP check. So something which is a software-based reimbursement process, which can help make the process more easier for employee, employer, and the client, to make it less exhaustive for the employee is more important.
Perfect. So yeah, that's true. But I think government needs to do a lot of work for us to reach there. So that's very real. Like it's a very common problem that we also face. If I talk about as a technologist, what would be the best experience to drive? Let's say if I'm an employee, I make an expense today, I put it, my manager approves it, from the wallet, the money should get paid to the employee that day itself. Why wait for the month end, right? Why wait for the salary time? The best experience would be people spending and you approving and then eventually the payouts. The other side of the problem that you were mentioning, which was that they have to go to site. Maybe the approval process does not happen, but they still have to go, right? So we have a feature of raising advance requests, right? So if you are going, individual is going for a certain site for ERP implementation, they can raise a lump sum amount as a travel advance from the organization, and later in a certain TAT, whatever you configure, the system will seek the bills for the advances that they have taken, right? So that actually helps in moderating it down a bit, but it does not really truly answer the problem. You know, it's just there. So thank you, everyone. Next table will just really speed up. Next one. So topic of the table is, what are the key metrics to improve for HR department? Right. This is extremely important because the metrics of all the different departments are very clear to us, but a lot of times as HR, that's something which is not clear to us. Ma'am, please.
Very good evening to everyone. I'm Sulakshna Vanre from Right Porter Solutions, India Private Limited. Now the HR metrics that we have identified, the favorite of all of us, employee engagement, the first one. Okay. The second is the talent acquisition, which most all of us face problem. The hybrid work culture is the third one. The capacity building, fourth one, and the work-life balance in the organization. Right. These are the 5 metrics that we have identified. Okay. And like we have tried to work out on it also. Like the employee engagement, I feel is something where we can say every employee needs to understand that he is important to the organization. Once that is clear, things get more cleared out. Okay, the roles and responsibilities are clear. Otherwise, the employee feels left out, and then there's no point having out an employee engagement. The talent acquisition, I would say, is the sources from where we get it. Okay, the talent pool management. Okay, the salary, the increment, the processes, the performance appraisal systems, everything that we have been speaking about. Okay, the competency mapping that we need to have in the organization. Okay, the hybrid work culture, which is the current favorite, because over here it basically relates to synchronizing, because it is not everyone would prefer it. Some would prefer it working from the organization itself, some from the remote locations. So synchronizing, making use of the technology, and especially when there's a gap between you have senior people and, okay, they are not comfortable, so you need to make out. Capacity building, I would say the learning and development, okay, creating training programs, okay, having out various programs in the organization. The last is the work-life balance. This can be done through the employee wellness, vacation breaks, recreational breaks, okay, get-togethers organizing for the employees. Okay, so they feel out that yes, rather I would say their family feels out that they are important to the organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'll zip it. No more talks. Any other table left? I have lost count. Yes, please.
Hello everyone, a very good evening. So here myself, Doil Bhattacharya, I am from TCS Nagpur, and here I present on behalf of my team. So we have with us Neha, she is from Copper Nickels Consulting, Nandini from Lars Amino Private Limited, Anagha from HSM Edifice Construction Private Limited, Dr. Nilesh Agrawal he is a Deputy Director in Alexis Hospital, Nagpur, and Ms. Purva Nadeem, she is the CHRO of Center Point Hospital Group. So our topic for today is training needs identification of employees. So as per the latest HR stats, if we see, 87% of millennials believe learning and development in the organization plays an essential role. Apart from that, over 70% of high retention risk employees will leave the company in order to advance their career. So coming up to the 5 main challenges, what we have identified is definitely mindset of learning. Right now we have seen in organizations that employees are doing the trainings just to complete their learning hours, okay? So it's very important to understand what they need and accordingly segregate and plan the overall training program. Next challenge is requirements and needs to be addressed clearly. So definitely it is a kind of solution for the first thing, that is how to overcome the mindset of learning and how to enhance it. Second is engaging the Gen Z, as we have seen in most of the organization. Gen Z, as we know, a lot of studies have been going on in understanding and also making sure what exactly they want. So definitely for that, gamification is something which is playing an essential role. How to engage them, how to keep them motivated by having different leadership dashboards, badges, and so on. Third is promotion and skill identification. In multiple organizations, it have been observed that employees are promoted, but still there is a skill gap. Okay, so for that, to overcome that, definitely there are different scaling up mechanism to gain up to that position, segmentation and 360-degree feedback in order to make that person understand that where exactly he is and what all competencies he need. And the last one is the curriculum designing. That is very important. If the curriculum is unorganized, definitely organizing it and updating it from time to time plays an essential role. That's it from our end. Thank you.
I think it covered it illustratively, plus I am zipping it. So only one point to add, which is let's just make sure that we are able to measure the output of the training properly. That is something which most of the organizations don't do effectively, is where they keep on organizing trainings, but is it really bringing in that change that you actually planned for in the first place, is something which needs to be looked in properly. How do we do that? Think of the outcome before you go about making people do trainings, right? The outcome which you desire for, and how would you measure that outcome once the training is done, or once training, with certain milestones, maybe 3 months down the line after the training, or 6 months, right? So that is something which is essential, and that should be all. Thank you very much.
Yes, very good evening all. Myself Nitin Bismay. I am from India Shelter. I am along with my all team members, and we have collectively addressed this. How to increase employee vacationing experience, which is very important for all of us, right? So it is a problem statement which we are considering this. So we identified 5 possible solutions that we can offer. First is to make people aware. People means employees, those who are coming, they should be properly aware what are their actually leaves they can avail in details, along with the delegation in the absence of when they went on holiday. Apart from that, there should be a D&D facility while employees on vacations, and there should be a call block facility also. It is just a suggestion from our side as a team, and there should be a travel bonus during vacation for every employee, and these are all. That's all from our team. Thank you.
Just to quickly check, any other table left?
Good evening, everybody. I am Suneet Manan from Bajaj Steel Industries Limited, and we have been. Our topic is effective employee onboarding, and I think most of the issues discussed in the various tables. However, the 5 key points which we have highlighted, our team has jointly discussed is, the first point is the availability of key managerial persons and HODs. That is the difficulty which is being faced while the onboarding process. Then the second point is the content of onboarding of orientation, which leads to effective, which is leading to effective induction. Third point is conveying the company culture, which is a concern again. Then the fourth point is the documentation process, which itself is a very lengthy process at the time of onboarding of the employee. And what we have seen is that it is very difficult, to check all the documents and the authenticity of the documents. So there should be a tool for to measure this this point, like. Then again, the fifth point is the one-to-one introduction with each employee of the organization, which we require a tool for that. Like there should be some solution which we are seeking from Keka. And also the follow-up in case of, the missing documents in the documentation part. One thing is that if some of the document is missing, then it becomes very difficult to chase up with each and every employee to provide the documents that have not been provided earlier. So these are the points from our end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. From Keka's standpoint, we can actually deliver all of them, whatever points I've mentioned. But I will personally take it up after we're done with the roundtables. Any other tables left? Okay. Right, sir.
Good evening, everyone. The thing is that all you HR guys are here, so I just wanted to share a first-hand account of an employee's perspective. It happened that we were working from home for quite some time. I work for a very big company. And then after that, we had to come back to office and work. So during that time, around January, as you all know, we get our leaves, casual leave, privilege leave, medical leave and all that. So during that time, there was a situation wherein an employee had made some swipe errors. He was going to work, he was working all his hours under CCTV, everything and all that. Suddenly his leave started getting disappearing. And he lost 1 month. 1 month of earned leave. He brought it to the notice of the HR, the regional HR, the zone HR, and the branch head. You will not believe it, none of them cooperated. The reason is they said it's a systemic error. But I thought if you're an HR, you have to care for the employee. As an exception, they could have restored the leave and lifted the morale of the employee. That employee lost 1 month of earned leave. Okay? So my point is, even if you have a system, there should be an exception where you can have that small window where these things, cases happen like these, untoward, can be considered so that the morale of the employee is not lost. Because if for example, I'll give you, say the maid that we have at home, you ask her to work for 1 month and say that you have not signed the register, we will not pay you. How would she feel? So my only request to HR people is, if such exceptional cases come, please consider, use your heart and consider and bring the morale of the employee up. And when you go to a local manager, the regional manager, and the zone manager, and you don't get cooperation, you feel lost. Because you've given your heart and soul, everything. And the leave was not restored. So, y'all are HRs, just think if y'all go through that, how would y'all feel? So, if any such situation comes, please consider this on humanitarian grounds. Because some employees are hypersensitive. For them, it will always hurt them every day of their life. So, it will also affect the productivity and the overall performance. So, this is my humble request to all of y'all. And that employee happens to be me. I'm not naming the company because I'm a loyal guy.
Right.
I'm not naming my designation, whatever, but I work for a very big company. So I just wanted to share this.
Absolutely. It does make sense,
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
right? If you
Thank
look
you
at
so
it,
much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. If you look at it, there is nothing which can replace the humility and the intent that you have. No technology, no AI, nothing, right? So whatever amount of processes you put into place, without that intent inside, nothing will work. So the table is left.
Hi everyone, good evening. This is Ruchika Subsande. I'm from Learning Mate, Mumbai. The topic that is given to us is how to identify performers from non-performers. Okay, now when we say performers, I feel that this is a very relative term. Okay, I think there has to be some parameters on which you calculate the performance of an employee. You can just not call anybody a non-performer, because definitely you need to have some parameters on what basis you say that, right? So I think having that parameter really helps. Also, understanding the challenges of the employees, what challenges the employee is actually facing. Is this an aspiration issue, or is this a skill issue? That is something that we need to identify. If this is a skill issue, then we need to create a training program to bridge those gaps, and help the employee so that he can excel in his career. I think competency is something that comes into picture when it is about the skills. The competency should take care of the training program. They should create the training program and help the employee to bridge those gaps. I think if this is a will issue, then definitely we have to understand, because employee cannot say that we signed up for this testing role, but now we want to move into the complete data analytics, okay? Because that is also something that we need to understand, and the employee also has to understand that what they have signed for, right? They also have to stick to that. I think mentorship training is very important, and as you rightly said, there has to be a measure of the output of the training program. Right now, most of the organizations, they create a training program, but they do not calculate, or they do not assess the output of the training. I think we need to have a training program. There has to be a timeline that has to be defined. Maybe it is 45 days or it is 90 days of time. And then we have to have periodic reviews, like reviews in 2 weeks of time or maybe 4 weeks of time. And then we can share that progress to the employee, that these are the areas where you have improved. These are the areas where we still see the gaps you need to improve. And then, we need to help that employee to bridge those gaps. After a training tenure, see, we cannot give them forever. I'm just saying we give them 45 days of time or 60 days of time. And then if the employees or the resource is still not improving, then we might call that person a non-performer or a low performer. But then we also have to understand there could be some personal challenges, right? We also have to, on humanitarian grounds, right? We have to think through our heart as well, and we have to understand what challenges they might be going through in their personal lives. So I think that's it from my side. Thank you so much, everyone.
That was the same topic, how to identify performers from non-performers. So we have also identified the same points, what has been discussed. The only thing is that we just wanted to add over here is giving the non-performers a responsibility to identify where they are lacking and try to divide the tasks as well as the self-appraisals. So these were the points we would like to add up in that. And even we can go for the check-in and check-out emails or the task on a daily basis, or maybe with a periodic table which we can. And definitely we can go through the corrective action forms wherein they can be given more opportunities to perform.
Very rightly said. Thank you. So, if we look at it, PIP is utilized in a very brutal way today. It's just a ticket to an employee which ensures that down the line you are out, right? Let's use PIP a little more responsibly as an organization. Let's make performance improvement plan really a performance improvement plan which offers people a chance to come back onto the track, right? We should define right set of objectives for the PIP for people to bring them back onto the track. So HR as a department, I think, essentially holds that authority and that capability to get it done. Thank you, ma'am, for that. So we'll go about the next table.
From Indorama Synthetic India Limited, Nagpur. I have my team, Mithilesh, Fauzia, Jayant, Abhishek, and Anchal. We were doing some FGD. FGD करने के बाद में suddenly हमारा ध्यान गया कि क्या बोलना चाहिए. Then सब लोगों का ध्यान ये book की तरफ गया. इस पे लिखा है कि HR disrupted. It is time for something different. That is what it is written here. और सभी लोगों को इन्होंने ये जानबूझ के किताब बांट दिया. HR is disrupted, right? So my dear friends, really in the present scenario of business competitive world, अगर आप HR का रोल करना चाहोगे, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आपका पर्पस क्या है. What's your purpose? जितने भी लोग यहाँ पर है या बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं यहाँ पर, आज हम लोग क्यों इकट्ठे हुए हैं? नहीं ज्ञानेन सदृश्य पवित्र में विद्यते. इस दुनिया में अगर कोई प्योर चीज़ है वो है ज्ञान, और सब हम लोग ज्ञान प्राप्त करने के लिए आज यहाँ पर उपस्थित हुए. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक टू congratulate and thank you Keka team for this wonderful innovation organizing this program. तो पर्पस इज वेरी मच इम्पॉर्टेंट. आप IR के बंदे हो या HR के बंदे हो, है ना. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम लोग थोड़ा सृष्टि से भी ले सकते हैं. घृष्टम घृष्टम पुनरिपि घृष्टम चंदनम चारुगंधम. व्हाट डज इट मीन? इसका मतलब ये है कि चंदन की लकड़ी, छोटी सी चंदन की लकड़ी को घसीए, आप इतने बड़े चंदन की लकड़ी को घसीए तो वो इस दुनिया में चंदन की लकड़ी क्यों आया है? व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ दैट चंदन की लकड़ी? खुशबू देना उसका काम है. Am I right? So what is your purpose? Why you are working in a company as an HR guy? इसलिए मेरा टॉपिक था how is organization structure critical for HR strategy? What kind of strategy we are building? Number one, is it really required to address this issue? Right? HRD, हर रोज दर्द. और इस दर्द को हमको एड्रेस करना है रोज. HRD, हर रोज दुआएं देनी पड़ेगी, दवाई देनी पड़ेगी. That is what it works. Otherwise it won't work. So my dear friends, people have been talking about many things, you know, employee engagement, policy, MIS generation, so many things. Very good topics, very good knowledge we have gathered today. But when we enter in the premises of any company, you see there is a vision board, then mission board. My dear friends, we should have our own purpose board in our cabin. Then only you will be able to discharge something. Otherwise won't. People have been talking about HR is a strategic business partner. Really, are you? What we did, actually, what I saw, we have created an administrative culture. And we are very good in that. This is not required. We need a learning culture. Then the strategy builds, then the strategy starts. Then you will do some value addition to that company. Otherwise, not possible. You have to be very innovative. Otherwise, not possible. Innovative is the need of the HR. Belongingness, how you will improve the belongingness if you will start the innovative culture. Somebody was talking about feedback. Attrition ratio ज़्यादा है, feedback लेना है. अरे भैया feedback उससे बात के लिए exit interview हो गया, वो कुछ भी नहीं बताएगा, वो सब अच्छा बताएगा. अगर आप innovation नहीं करोगे, simple example, तो आप कुछ भी नहीं कर पाओगे. वो तो सब अच्छा लिखेगा, नहीं तो उसको full and final settlement नहीं होगा, वो अच्छा लिखेगा ही. So what is innovation here? What we have to do here? हम लोग, when I was working with Mahindra and Mahindra Limited, so what we did, हम लोग एग्जिट इंटरव्यू जो फीडबैक लेते हैं वो 3 महीने बाद लेते थे. 3 महीने बाद वो किसी दूसरी कंपनी में सेटल हो गया, राइट, एंड इज गुड. वो फीडबैक जब देता है दिल से देता है, अच्छा देता है, एंड दैट इज द वैल्यू एडिशन यू आर डूइंग फॉर द कंपनी व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट दिस काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजीज, क्रिटिकल स्ट्रैटेजीज फॉर HR. Otherwise it's not possible, right? So in the present scenario, what I would suggest, my dear friends, we need to have a learning culture. If you forget administrative culture, things will move on. This is my 3 decades experience. I worked with good companies, so this is my experience. Learning culture develop करो. मैं कल सवेरे काम पे कैसे आ सकता हूँ? That is what the employee should feel. Belongingness कैसे बढ़ सकता है? And value addition. Otherwise also people are getting money, all HR people are getting their, decided salaries and those things. But really think, why I am here today? Purpose. Purpose is must. किसी लोगों को 20 साल की सर्विस होने के बाद में पर्पस पता चलता अरे बाबा ये मेरा पर्पस था. We are gone. So from the beginning itself, you should have a purpose. And these kind of critical HR strategies will play very, very important role in the present scenario of competitive business world. This is all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Quite elevating points, actually, if you look at it. If anybody's left, I'm sorry. We are really out of time. So what sir was essentially mentioning right now was vision of the organization, breaks down into mission, breaks down into objectives, breaks down into KPIs, breaks down into metrics, right? And eventually, if you look at any organization today, every organization has a purpose. It could be a very simple purpose like delivering a pizza to a greater than humanity purpose like colonizing the Mars, which SpaceX has, right? So this purpose is essentially there with every organization. Now, if you look at the employee side of the picture, employee also has a purpose. Nobody's born with a purpose, right? We create our own purposes. We choose what our purposes are, and then we manifest and they become real, right? And that's how we get defined. So if you look at employee side of the picture, the purposes are very simple. Maybe making money, maybe growth, maybe recognition, maybe sustenance, right? So many different objectives why people come to work every day, right? Give 9 hours of their life into something which is not even their vision, right? So now, if you look at it, the discrepancy between the vision or the purpose of the organization and the purpose of an employee is something which can be addressed through the right set of goal settings if you do to people. So I would like to bring in an example of what Google implemented in their organization, which when they were 76 employees company, OKR goal setting methodology, where objectives and key results is how we are going to look at what we are going to achieve. Objective is that big, hairy, audacious goal that we want to achieve in our lives, maybe 4 years, 5 years down the line. And key results are the measurable methods of how we are going to. Those are basically the milestones which will tell us that are we inching any closer to those objectives or not. So what they did was, they actually did the goal setting exercise where they took 5-year-long aspiration. They wrote their goals, the organization goal first, which was they want to they want to organize words information and provide it to everybody on planet for free, right? They have done quite a great justice with it if you look at it today, right? This is something that they wrote in 1998 and they persisted on it. The entire organization aligned themselves to that vision, and today we have a success of Google, which is evidently very visible, right? With more than 3 lakh employees altogether in the organization. So this is the power of vision, purpose into the life. The organization is essentially something which can lend a sense of purpose to the people. It's a lot of times we ourselves are not able to figure out or create a purpose for ourselves. So organization can definitely look into the set of skills that you have and help you in creating that purpose, which is creating a career path. So on these regards, goal setting has an extreme importance for people, for managers, supervisors, organizations, and everybody. We at Keka, we understood this as a need. We were initially, we were providing consulting hands to people to make sure that they are able to set right goals for themselves. Now we have launched few more capabilities in terms of tech to make sure that happens. So over here, I would like to play a quick video about a new feature that we are launching in our platform. And if you think that feature will help you or benefit you in executing your work better, that would be great. So can we go on with the video? you, everyone. That's very encouraging. So we just integrated our platform with ChatGPT just to make sure that all the different kind of helping hand that you require with GPT, be it writing effective job descriptions while you're doing job postings, to maybe probably people setting goals. You can just simply write your role and designation, your experience, and probably give certain prompts into the platform, and the platform will help you do it. So if you want to know more about it, our team will actually guide you in terms of use cases that it will have in future. You can always subscribe to Keka's blog, where we keep on telling the new features that we bring in. The last thing before I take an exit, as the dinner is waiting, I would request everybody to proceed to that. We also run an academy. We call it Keka Academy, where there are free certifications available for HR professionals on different aspects like HR BP or HR analytics. So you can always go to Keka Academy and do those certifications, which will add value to your profile. So we're trying to build this community, which is more, what should I call it, technology optimized, and should be able to, should be more enabled in terms of how to help or handle your people with more tech at your purview. So thank you very much, everybody, for being so patient with the session. I am really sorry for the people who got bored. I was not feeling well while I started. I feel a lot more better now. So for the next part, before we proceed, there is Dr. Nishad would try to add something here. Right?
No, I have a mic. Thank you. Yeah. So guys, without taking any much time of yours, there is something called HR Bites. Those are, those were being played basically when you just arrived at the venue, right? So can we have the video once again, please? The HR Bites. So these are essentially, a curation and a compilation of the experience that you had at the event, and most importantly, a specific, topics. For example, you have discussed a lot of things today, right? But then a lot of your thoughts and perceptions weren't actually translated to the audience here. So we would like you to come together and then, help us identify those solutions and shoot the video with us. You can find us at the end of the room here or at the other side while you are having your dinner. So if you can please give us 2 minutes, we can shoot your video, and these will be played at all the other venues where we are going, the next cities, that is Indore, Bangalore, Mumbai, and things like that. So yeah, can we have the volume?
The first focus element for 2023 would be to reduce the skill gap by putting effort at the right places. Vanilla skill sets are going to be passé, and we now need to look at the niche skills. The industry requires it. And from an HR standpoint, I believe the L&D function and the talent management function need to integrate together to create those opportunities for the future. Because it's not about getting an employee today, it's about retaining an employee, and the employee will only be retained if you give them a career growth trajectory which is relatable, which is logical and actionable at the same time.
After COVID, it's been very difficult to get people coming back to work and encouraging them to come back, use office space. I think today's talent is very used to working working from home. So getting back.
So that's pretty much it. I hope you have got an idea of what I'm talking about, right? So if you would like to contribute to it, please, you can. And the topic would be either what was discussed on your tables today, or the topic can also be the HR strategies that you think are vital for HRs to succeed in the future years, right? So that being said, the dinner is waiting for you all. Please proceed. And thank you so much for participating so well in the event today. It could not be possible without you guys. So yeah, thanks so much again, and we'll be seeing you in the next event. Thank you.